Hey Manny,
Alright, you guys behave yourself.
what
What's
would
up,
you,
bro?
what would you like to see come of this scene,
Don't do
man?
anything I wouldn't do.
So what do I want to see come out of this occupation movement? Well, first of all, I want to see an audit of the Fed. Once you audit the Fed, all the skeletons come out of the closet, bankers go to jail, criminals in charge go to jail, and we may see some justice. If we get the audit, then that's it. The Fed's gonna fall. It has to be destroyed in order for us to get our freedom back. It's a monopoly over our money system. There was a couple of people, I can't remember if it was Utah or if it was New Mexico, where they tried to introduce something known as the Liberty Dollar. And when they introduced the Liberty Dollar, they introduced it as a competing currency to compete against the Federal Reserve note. When they did that, because competing currencies are illegal, they were raided, they were arrested, and their gold and silver was seized. All because the Federal Reserve prints phony money out of thin air and they use it for all these wars. You can't have that with a gold standard, because everyone has the power of the currency in their hands through Congress. See, now we have a Federal Reserve system which is completely fiat, based on no backing whatsoever other than the American taxpayer and consensus reality. Someone was saying that we believe the value of our money is worth something because we all came to an agreement saying, yeah, this is $20, it's worth $20. But the problem with that is the Federal Reserve Bank, when Bank of America, when Citibank, when Wells Fargo, when these zombie banks go out of business, who bails them out? The Federal Reserve bails them out. So all these people that have all their money stocked up in bonds and savings, as more money gets injected into the system, the value of the bonds go down, your savings does not collect any more interest, your purchasing power is destroyed, as we've seen from 2008 to now. 2008, we got hit with an $800 billion bailout directly to the banks. Where did that money go? Timothy Geithner said they can't tell us. Henry Paulson said he can't tell us. Ben Bernanke said he can't tell us. Why? The Federal Reserve, a lot of people believe, is a government entity. The Federal Reserve is as federal as Federal Express. It's a private for-profit corporation that loans money to the United States. So that's your problem right there. But the thing is, people don't see it like an army invading. See, this is the bank army invading, behind the scenes with suits and ties and telling us, if you don't pass this bailout, there's going to be martial law on the streets. In 2008, Congress was threatened with the prospect of martial law happening if they didn't sign the stimulus package of 2008. Immediately after they signed the stimulus package of 2008, it was instant banker dictatorship. The banks became the rulers of this nation through fiat. No executive orders were passed. No congressional hearings were set in place. No one voted on it, and they did it anyways through executive fiat. So these criminals that are in power need to be removed. But in order for that to happen, we have to keep educating the masses. And once a message reaches 10%, there's no stopping it. I feel that the people that are here, yeah, we got all these leftists and a couple of rightists, conservatives, whatever you want to call them, all playing this political football when the Federal Reserve is the coach, or not even the coach, they're the whole owner of the game. You know, they fund both sides of the parties. You know, all these people were thinking that Obama is going to be the savior, this guy that's going to be there for the American people. You know, I, as a Chicano-American, you know, kind of saw that playing the race card a little bit, like, oh yeah, finally we got a brother in there. He's going to help us out. When he got in there, what did he do? He screwed us over. He didn't do shit. When you look at his campaign donations, who did he get his money from? Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan Chase. You know, all these banks that we're, you know, protesting against, he got the money from. You know, so Obama himself, he's just a corporate whore. No better than Bush, no better than Clinton, no better than Bush Sr., no better than Reagan. They're all puppets of the Federal Reserve. So, you know, just constantly hitting the issues, sticking to what you believe in, and just getting that message out is what we got to keep doing, and that's what I'm doing here. Some people talk about George Soros and people trying to hijack the movement. I see it. I see a little bit of it. But you know what? It ain't going to stop us. I made this sign. I didn't get George Soros funding to pay for a beautiful looking banner. People see through that shit. It's plastic. It's see-through. It's garbage. It ain't real. This is the grassroots. Someone in their house printing out papers and putting it on a sign and making their own sign organically. That's the movement. That's the 99%. You are the 99%. I am part of the 99%. My family is the 99%. I'm not a banker. Unless you're a banker, you're in the 1%. So with that said, that's all I got. I mean, I don't know if you have any questions.
Yeah. It's October of 2011. What would you expect to see next year if this message doesn't reach the masses?
Okay, if the message of abolishing and auditing the Federal Reserve doesn't reach the masses, we're just gonna rearrange chairs on the deck of the Titanic. We're just moving stuff. We're playing this political football. Until the monopoly men are confronted and removed from power, then we'll see change. But until then, this game of left and right and socialist, fascist, conservative, liberal, whatever, it's just gonna keep us locked in this duopoly of power. There will be no change. We have to eliminate the two-party duopoly of power. It's a monopoly of power, the left and right. Left covers for the right, right covers for the left. I mean, when you look at the stimulus package in 2008, Democrats voted for it, Republicans voted for it, Independents voted for it. They're all traitors. Those are the people that need to be removed from office. And one thing that, I know that the question was about if the message didn't get out, but if the message does get out, that's when the change is going to happen. People are going to realize that they're getting robbed through secrecy and stealth, through the inflation tax, through all this money that's being printed, further devaluing your savings. My grandmother has X amount of dollars saved away for retirement. The purchasing power of that money is nothing. She's barely making ends meet. My family is supporting her, all because the Federal Reserve got greedy, decided to print out more money and give it to their crony gangster banks and all their friends at Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan Chase, Citibank, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, Wachovia, and they're all drug dealers, drug laundering thugs. They've been convicted and all they get is a slap on the wrist, and if you try to do the same thing, you get 10 to 15 years in jail. So how is the system fair? It's a hypocrisy.
Yeah.
So we gotta break the hypocrisy. If we don't break the hypocrisy of control, we're just gonna be spinning our wheels, rearranging furniture on the deck of the Titanic. Nothing's gonna change.
Yeah.
So we gotta change the whole system from within.
I agree with you that all of what I've seen from this movement has been organic, and I haven't seen any sort of funding or influence outside, to suggest a nice production. And one of the questions that I continuously ask is, hey, what do you think about Obama endorsing the Occupy movement? And I always seem to get they're seeing right through it.
Right, so basically, the good news is like you said, people are seeing through it. I mean, he's literally a wolf in sheep's clothing. He's pretending to be passionate towards you. Mm-hmm. If he was, he would have did what he said. I'll have the troops out of Iraq and Afghanistan. You can take that to the bank. Campaign promise. I don't see our troops leaving Iraq anytime soon. All that's being done is they're getting new names. They're being called peacekeepers or some bullshit like that. They're calling it a peace process or something.
Yeah.
When it's freaking war. I mean, what is the military's purpose? To destroy and kill. They are not police officers. We do not need to police the globe. That right there is another problem. The Federal Reserve printing out all this money for us to police the globe. And if you look at who the Federal Reserve gives their loans to, they give it to the enemies that we, quote unquote, have to go fight. Mm-hmm. So, that whole cycle of power needs to just come to an end. And ending the Fed, auditing the Fed, that's the first step in the whole process. So I'll just leave it at that.
All right, cool, man. How likely is it? How far are we going to go with this, man? With the Occupy scene?
Okay, well, as far as I'm concerned, until the Federal Reserve is completely abolished. First we gotta audit it, then abolish it, and then we could work out a solution. Some people talk about the gold standard, some people talk about competing currencies, some people talk about nationalizing the Federal Reserve, some people call for federalizing the Federal Reserve. Whatever the solution is, of those that I just said, the first step in order to even get to that point is through an audit and abolishing the Fed. Until then, we'll be here. I have no plans on leaving. I've been protesting the Federal Reserve since 2008, and I'm not going to stop. I'm just gonna keep on doing my thing until I see Bernanke in jail, until I see Henry Paulson in jail, until I see Timothy Geithner in jail, until I see Alan Greenspan in jail. These criminal tyrants need to pay for the crimes against humanity and the endless wars that they funded.
I just got one more question for you, and it's a two-part. How much Fed awareness have you seen here, Federal Reserve awareness, and how receptive are people to it that aren't?
You know, it's a mixed bag. Some people, they're just like, right when you mention it, they're fired up about it. Some people, you mention it, they're like, nah, that's not the solution, ending capitalism solution, which is bullshit in my point of view. This is not capitalism, for one. So they need to get that out of their head. We do not live in a capitalist nation. We live in a fascist dictatorship where the corporations have merged with the banks. So until they get that, then we'll see more people understanding it. But, you know, just there's a lot of Kool-Aid drinkers, I guess you can say, people that are just like, yeah, I just want to go do something, and they're completely clueless about the Fed. That's where you come in, I come in, people like us, we have to be here to educate. Without education, we have nothing. It's a war for your mind. And if they don't know what's going on, they're just going into the battlefield for no reason. We're in the battlefield with facts, solutions, ideas, and things of that nature. So hopefully it's contagious, it's rubbing off. More and more people are receptive to abolishing the Fed, so that's good news. That's great news, because they know it's a private corporation.
Cool, cool. Thanks, brother.
Right on, man. Appreciate it.